Now we have Microsoft Azure. Has anyone heard of them? Cool, there's a few sniggers in the background there. Good, excellent. Right, guys, do you want to introduce yourselves and tell us what your responsibilities are and what you do? We've got an unscheduled member on the list, so it's very important you introduce yourself.
Sure.
I have
a mic. My name is Lutful Kankar, and I work in a group called the Commercial Software Engineering team in Microsoft. So in real term, my role is I'm an Azure specialist in Microsoft, so I work for the cloud team and focus in the media industry. And I have been working in the media industry for past few years. And when I say media industry, I work with our global media partners around the globe as a part of that team. So some of us, we have a list of global partners that we have been working with over several years now, and I manage some of them. But at the same time, I also work with end customers like the broadcasters, OTT vendors, and stuff like that in conjunction with my partners that I work with.
Perfect, excellent. Sami.
Yep. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Saumin. I'm a cloud solution architect in Microsoft. It's a different division than Lutful. It's called One Commercial Partner Group. So we are primarily working with our Microsoft partners, partners like building the products on top of Azure platform or delivering the service to our customers. So that is my day-to-day activities, primarily working with the partners. My specialty is primarily on the application modernization technologies in Azure. Primarily, Neil has explained about the containers. So my day-to-day work is primarily working with the partners to build the solutions on top of Azure by leveraging Azure Kubernetes Service, Service Fabric, and we have a list of serverless technologies available. So that is my primary job. And media service is it's not my core priority in my list, but it might be part of my day-to-day solutions. Yep, exactly.
Perfect. Okay, so Azure's media services. Tell us a little bit about their history and what the feature sets and what the capabilities across the board are. It's a lovely open-ended question, so feel free to take that whichever way you want.
Sure,
but remember, it's a CDN audience, and 80% of their job is delivering video. So
very good.
Take it away.
So you want to go? So we are primarily a cloud company, if you think about it. We don't think that we are a media company per se. We work with the media industry very closely because we work with all the major business verticals in the industry. If you look at end-to-end Azure offerings that resonates with media, yes, we do have the cloud platform with the storage, the compute and the networking that enables any type of media workflows. We also have some first-party services that are Microsoft branded, and you mentioned Azure Media Services. I just want to make sure that we differentiate. When we say media on Azure, is not necessarily mean just Azure Media Services. Yes, we have a set of features and functionalities that we have built that are very efficient for building media solutions, from media transcoding to streaming to, we have some CDN partners and we have our own CDNs. We also have a lot of media partners that have built their services that's cloud native on our cloud as well. And these are all the obvious ones that you guys know. I specifically work with Haivision, Wowza, Telestream, but then my colleagues works with Imagine, Harmonic, all the partners that helps us build solutions, OTT and solutions, media solutions. We work with them in a very close way because in order for us to be able to penetrate the media industry, we have to be able to fulfill their needs for, forgot to mention Avid. We have a very close relationship with Avid as well. So all these partners are the ones that makes us the cloud that our customers can build their solution on the top of. Where our cloud becomes very powerful in order for media solution is because we are a cloud that has today 54 regions globally, and it's growing. Maybe it will be 57 next week. And all of our Azure regions that are distributed all over the world are also connected via our private backbone. So we own a huge amount of fiber that allows for you to build a solution, whether with a partner or with our first-party solution, that provides you with super latency. So do you want to add anything?
Yeah, so if we look at the Azure Media Service, it's a platform as service, and customers, we have seen the customers like a large scale to the small scale, and it's very cost effective option. Like if you look at the 2014 FIFA football, Rio 2016 Olympics, all these major events were streamed on top of Azure Media Service. So the main advantage is that you can quickly scale up the environment, and whenever you are done, you can scale it down, so there is no cost. And it's very easy to set it up. And from a security perspective, for example, the digital DRM protection, we support all the major DRM protection capabilities available, so you don't need to set up a license server for that. So it's a true multi-tenant platform as a service, and easy to start, and whenever you don't need, you can shut it down. So that is one of the major advantages as well, along with the other capabilities that Pritwal mentioned.
So you've got a broad suite of capabilities in the platform as a service, half them as your media services, and then turning the words around, you've got Azure offering media companies IaaS type environment, infrastructure as a service, to develop and run their own applications.
IaaS, and I would say IaaS and also platform as a service as well. Like we just recently announced a new service called SRT Hub on Azure
Mark's
at
here,
NAB.
isn't he?
Yeah, Mark is
Big hand to
somewhere around
Mark
here
for SRT.
with Hivision.
There he is, waving at the back.
So I'm just giving it as an example. What SRT Hub is, you know, the Hivision has open sourced the platform, SRT technology, and we started working with them since then. And today we have a service that we have built with Hivision that offers you a SRT routing as a service that is positioned all over Azure regions globally. Yeah, you don't have to manage anything anymore. You just want a few channels up and running where you can stream SRT streams. It's now possible very easily without you having to manage anything. Plus, we are also building connected capabilities to all the ecosystem partners, as I was saying, including our first-party services, via a concept called Hublet, which is externalizing the service itself and building those individual hublets to connect with these downstream applications. So the overall concept is we want you guys to come to our cloud and be able to build a media solution where we don't necessarily dictate or constrain you with the specific technologies, because we know that the media industry's needs are very versatile. There are different types of relationships in existing relationships. There are capabilities that are different even from the same type of workflow streams, like a transcoder may be specialized for one versus the other transcoder. So we want to be able to enable all those on our cloud. So when our customers and partners comes and builds their solution, the tools are available there. One thing that I forgot to mention earlier is on the enterprise distribution side, if you think about it, we do own a huge footprint, which is our Office 365 ecosystem. We have a product there called Microsoft Stream, which is actually built on Azure Media Services. So that Microsoft Stream now allows you to be able to stream videos via our cloud to all those customers and consumers that has Office 365 subscription. So like say if you think about enterprise videos, I see you're speaking to their company. Now you can just turn on that capability very easily, and you already have that platform at your,
So that omnipresent reach that
Correct.
Microsoft always has is supported.
And another company that we own is LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is, for lack of a better word, the professional version of Facebook, right? So if you think about the Facebook platform, that's where people now leverage, stream a lot of their contents, that we used to see on cable, news, breaking news, and all this kind of stuff. LinkedIn has just announced their own video platform, and we are also working very closely with the LinkedIn group to be able to enable video streaming for multi-purposes in that sense as well. So we have a different set of offerings under our brand and umbrella that we can do a lot of things with our customers and partners.
Yeah, I for one, I'm waiting for the LinkedIn live streaming to reach the UK, but I'm waiting. Sorry, Samin.
One another key feature I would like to highlight is Video Indexer, so which is one of the product of the year in NAB 2019. So that is our it's an artificial intelligence as a service for videos. So it is infused with more than 27 different machine learning algorithms. So let's say if somebody's videotaping us, it can detect the face, emotion, and the object's brand. So it's like there are like 27 different machine learning capabilities built in. And no wonder that is selected as, like I think in 2018, there's another award also got for the same product, right?
Yeah.
Video
So Video Indexer is like built on the top of our cognitive services stack, which is, you can think of video AI, and it got the award at IBC 2018, and then the award at NAB 2019. This is our Azure Media Services branded offer for, exactly what you said. The face recognition, the object recognition, the motion, emotion, and all this kind of stuff.
Which, of course,
And
Microsoft Research Labs has a long history in anyway.
correct.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's growing. So we are bringing in more and more features on that platform that makes it very easy for you to just consume, not having to build it yourself. And we're seeing our customers and partners are building a lot on that platform.
Yeah, one scenario would be the Endemol Shine Group, the production company for Big Brother.
Yeah.
So it's a reality show, bunch of strangers in the room. 24/7.
Pseudo-reality.
Yeah, exactly. So the production company, they cannot monitor what's going on in a 24/7. So they are using the video indexing capability. So this AI service can automatically detect like, if somebody's angry or somebody's laughing. So all this emotional they can track and they can replay and they can create like a custom solution on top of that.
Generate tomorrow's headlines in the tabloids.
Exactly, yeah.
Perfect. Excellent. So this is a room full of people focused on CDN and so on. So talk to us about your capabilities as a CDN and your relationship with other third-party CDNs and so on. How's that dynamic work? What do you offer yourselves, and how do you work with others as well?
So CDN to us is a complement to what our service offers today. If you think about where we are playing the role in the media distribution, video distribution is once you enter our cloud, to what you exit our cloud, right? And they are globally distributed, but it's still 54 regions. CDNs are much more broader in terms of reach beyond that. So at that end, we always see the partnership with various CDNs in order for us to be able to connect to the end users that are even further dispersed than the 54 region where we sit. So CDN is a natural complement to our global ecosystem for media.
So just harking back to Peter's presentation at the beginning of the day, where he was talking about these direct connect lines being set up, and obviously Facebook, Microsoft, Google, and Apple, I think, certainly four of the major FAN companies have been investing heavily in transoceanic fibers and really significant, some of the largest carrier level network investment that I've seen for a decade or so. Is this a challenge to some of the CDNs in the room, or is this just part of helping everyone build the larger ecosystem?
So I think reach is one of the biggest challenge just in general for video delivery. And reach with efficiency is the main challenge, right? So if you're talking about, there are two types of distribution. One is via CDN, which is, when I think about CDN, it's like a mass distribution of contents, getting it very close to end users. And then there is private connection between just maybe like a studio to our
Publishing,
cloud, right?
yeah.
So both are big opportunities, right? So yes, those are the areas where we definitely see partnership with all the global brands that plays in that space. And you will always have multiple options as we mature in this industry. There will be multiple CDNs. There will be multiple, like we have our own express route that allows you to set the private connection between your, but that doesn't mean that's what you will have to choose to go to our cloud, and nor should you. It's what matters. We just have to be flexible enough to be able to partner with all these different CDNs, and the private networks that allows you to, have the communication between the cloud and build the hybrid scenarios.
Let me just pick up on ExpressRoute a little bit.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what the offering is and what the capabilities are?
Yeah, so ExpressRoute is our version of being able to set a private network connection between your own data center or another cloud to our cloud. So we connect that first mile or the last mile bridge in a very efficient way with a very thick pipe.
So it's virtual private connection, or it's not lease line into the infrastructure?
It's giving you like a private connectivity, and you will be getting a reliable and like a guaranteed performance.
Bandwidth,
So you can
yeah.
go up to 100 gigabit of bandwidth from your data center to Microsoft data center. And so that is good for like in the video scenario, for ingestion perspective. ExpressRoute is it's a good scenario. And for CDN, coming back to that, in Azure CDN, we have an offering called Azure CDN, which is a multi-CDN concept. Like we have our own edge location, 130 locations across the world. And we are partnered with Akamai and Verizon. So for customers who are paying to Azure, they don't need to manage like independent CDN accounts. They just need to pay to Microsoft, and we will manage that one in an account perspective.
Right.
So in the Azure CDN, like there are like three. One is Microsoft CDN and Akamai and Verizon. Those are
And
three
we
options.
have Fastly as well. So
Yep.
3 CDNs,
Yep.
Fastly, Akamai, and
That is just a part of the Azure CDN, but like Lutful mentioned, like it's like an open platform, so customers can choose their own CDN as well.
So, guys, I'm going to come to you for questions in a minute or two. So get your questions warmed up, get your grey cells whirring. But so when you are first encountering media companies that want to start using you guys, what are the challenges that they're facing that they particularly come to you for help with? That's sort of the first part of the question. The second is what are the challenges in onboarding them that you face that you've typically encountered?
so I would say it's not necessarily like challenges, it's more of an industry trend that we are seeing. I'm just going to go a little bit broader on this.
That's fine, yeah.
The OTT companies are the ones that we think are the ones that are born on the cloud, right? So the Netflix, the Hulus,
Yeah.
they're the ones that are pushing the traditional satellite and cable companies to become more agile,
Migration, yeah.
being able to be cost efficient and also be innovative. Because if you look at all the OTT companies where we are watching the shows today, didn't exist 3-4 years ago. My kids don't watch cable anymore, right? And that's the direction where the industry is heading. And I work with a lot of broadcasters. I work with a lot of studios. We all have our own studio, Microsoft Studio. The need is for you to be able to become cost efficient, agile, to be able to, produce on the cloud where people can collaborate from all different places, and at the same time, not have to own and build the infrastructure to the max capacity that you need. That's where cloud is the natural partner there. But like I said, not us, not any other cloud are media experts. That's where all the partners plays a huge role, and that's the CDN partners, the contribution partners, the processing partners, the transcoders, the origin servers, and everybody. We all together are building that area where now these customers are able to build. It's still early. We are still learning all together. As we are trying to understand the economy and efficiency. And I will be the first one to tell you, I've been in cloud for 10 years. We always say, oh, cloud is cheap. It's cheap when you use it the right way.
Yeah.
It's not cheap just because it's
Someone's
cloud.
got to pay for the service somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, are there any questions from the floor? Yeah. I'll do this one, Jose, because it's too far for you. You'll be knackered.
Hey, here's a question I wanted to ask you guys. With respect to your fiber infrastructure, do you typically lease dark fiber or IRU in order to build out your network, or do you own it outright? And here's why I'm asking that question. If you think it impacts on the proprietary information, you may decline to answer it, but I'm asking the question is, when you support huge events such as the World Cup, how do you scale the extra bandwidth you require, up or down?
So if you think about the dedicated fiber that's in place in the backbone between our regions, let's take it one step back. When I am delivering, say for instance, a World Cup event, I am not reaching all my customers via my fiber. My fiber is probably just transporting a single content to a CDN edge, then the CDN edge is distributing to the millions and millions of people that watching the sports, right? So that's not our fiber is probably just bringing the content from the original location of where the event is happening to via many other steps in the middle to different CDN networks, and then the CDN networks takes over. And number two, our fiber is pretty thick. So when we are leveraging when you leverage any service on Azure at that level, like infrastructure level, you just pay for what you use. So it's the egress cost when you are going out of an Azure region to another Azure region or to the world, that's when you are paying for the egress cost. That's what you are paying. You are not paying to have a dedicated fiber built in from one part of the world to another part of the world. Does that answer your question, kind of? But what the point that I was trying to make is the first mile and maybe the second mile is not to the world, not to the millions of people. It's to 5 CDN edges or CDN entry points or something, right? It's the last mile that CDN owns, CDN takes over, is going to millions and millions of people.
Any other questions from the floor? There we go. Oh, I'm
Right
looking
here.
in the wrong direction. Jose's standing over there.
Yeah, we talked this morning about edge computing. Is that something that Microsoft is considering, especially regarding the Azure infrastructure? Do you have some kind of distributed
Edge computing?
Yes.
So when you say edge computing, to me, it means many things, right?
Well, more precisely, you have Azure has a certain number of computing data centers. The impact of the trend, the edge computing trend, which is about having computing center much more distributed.
Yes.
Is that something that concerns Microsoft, or is that something that is that you consider or not?
So we do have as you mentioned, that we have our CDN edges as well, and we are capable of building compute nodes on the top of those CDN edges as well. And we also work with partners that has it's definitely something that's being that is always being under consideration. And also, when you say edge computing, there are other things that comes in my mind as well, like say, if we are doing processing at the encoder edge, then there can be, like say, IoT edge hubs and other things that's even much more smaller compute nodes that you can leverage as well. But I think your question is more towards the CDN edge, that scale, yeah? I don't know the exact number of Microsoft CDN edge.
Yeah, but it's documented as 130.
130.
Out of we have 54 Azure regions.
Yeah.
We are not talking about that one. We are talking
no.
about the Microsoft own edge, which is 130.
130.
Okay, and one of these edge location is about what? How many machines do you host typically?
I don't have idea.
That varies. That varies. Yeah. Yes.
Thanks.
But again, like say, we are capable of connecting with any CDNs, right? So that makes us even bigger. As yeah.
I have got another question of my own to ask, but before I do that, are there any more from the floor? Okay, so it's probably two sides to this question. So with regard to the other large cloud operators, you kind of stand out in my mind because you don't have a content offering of your own. So Google's got YouTube, Amazon's got its own video video platform and so on. I'm sure we could go on, but that stands out. Is that a strategic choice? Is that something you can comment on? Or if so, is that a strategic choice? Does it make you a little bit easier to approach from the media companies?
So from where I stand in Microsoft, from what I know, yes. We already have our hands in many businesses. And I don't think Microsoft has a plan to get into that business. We think that we want to do that via our partners, and we want our partners to build that type of solutions on our cloud. I don't think we have any plan to get into that business.
And sorry.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think sort of following on from that, and really my last question is, I assume that most of your customers are actually adopting a multi-cloud strategy. Is that something you're aware of, or you can comment on?
So I would say, from where I stand today, most of our partners, if not all of our partners, have multi-cloud strategy. When I say partners, I mean the software companies that offers their solution on cloud. When it comes to customers, I wouldn't say everybody. What multi-cloud provides you with is a very, very high SLA. So if you need that type of SLA with infinite number of nines, yes, you should go multi-cloud route. But I don't see, like one of our big customers, Walmart announced, right? So somebody like Walmart, I don't think they have multi-cloud strategy as far as I know. Okay. I don't think Amazon's big name customers are on our cloud either. So where we, the cloud vendors, if you want a certain number of nines, we tell you that then you have to go multi-cloud.
Yeah.
That's only how you can achieve that.
Yeah.
But I think we will eventually get there. Not yet.
When it was interesting, you mentioned the nines. When we first started deploying large live streaming services, there were a number of very early cloud startups that were saying we can offer these extended SLAs for our private customers, and we just walked away from them because they just can't deliver a specialized service for an individual client within these infrastructures.
Correct.
The ones that said we're doing 99.97, take it or leave it, they've actually been reliably better than that, but much easier to work with.
Right, and we, as being cloud architects, it doesn't matter which cloud we work for, that's the right answer.
Cloud's a cloud.
In order to achieve a certain number of nines, you have to be multi-cloud.
You have to. Cool. Thank you very much, Soumen Littleville. It's been brilliant to have you.
Absolutely.